Trial phase. We did a live one Sunday doing like a Super Bowl kind of conversation. Had my brother-in-law in, who's an avid sports fan, passionate fan, and talk Super Bowl talk. It's getting closer. I'm getting nervous.
Because of the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I'm nervous.
You should be nervous. I made a bet.
Not involving us, hopefully.
Kind of.
How many times I got to tell you stop speaking for me on this shit?
So, a fellow podcaster messaged me, and he's like, how confident are you into those Pats? Dude, man, I think, honestly,
I'm confident enough.
I'm confident. I think it's probably going to be a blowout. I haven't seen anything from, I know, this is what I want.
Stop saying that.
So
It's not going to be a blowout.
So he goes, you want to bet on it? Well, I mean, what are we talking here? Like, it's like, well, give me 10 points. Shit, 10 points. I don't know. 10 points is kind of high, don't you think? I mean, a blowout is a touchdown.
I think
right?
the line is at 4.5
that's
right
what
now.
I said, right? The line's
so
at 4.5. I'm like, I could see maybe like 7.5. He's like, sounds like you're not confident. What are you, fucking trying to Marty McFly me and call me chicken? Like, what the fuck are you talking about,
at least got 9.5.
bro?
That way, if they win by 10, you know, there's not a push.
Right? Yeah. So he, the bet was, the stake is if we lose, if they don't beat them by 10 points, because I Marty McFly'd that and drove into the Toyota and fucked up my life, that he, during our show after next time when we record, we have to throw out their name every now and again. So,
what's every now and again? Was
so
there like a cap limit put on this?
No, but when you're like, no, he didn't actually say a limit, but every now and again you got to kind of just sneak it in there. Like if you heard their 23andMe episode.
I did.
And they kept saying Happy Kwanzaa.
Wait, was this the result show or was this
the result show?
Oh, it wasn't the one where they were doing
No. During the result show when they were going Happy Kwanzaa randomly.
Yeah.
That's why. Because they lost the bet.
Oh, I see.
So
thanks for bringing me along on this car crash.
Hey, man, you gotta ride together, right?
Sounds like you guys aren't confident in the Pats.
No, I'm confident that they'll win.
But
when he said blowout, I got nervous because it is
10
not.
points, man, is
10 points is a lot. I know. Super Bowl.
It's a lot.
And the Pats are just notorious for having close games.
Yeah,
all the time,
really
especially in Super Bowls.
Yeah,
but
I swear they do it on purpose. I do.
Yeah, but I can honestly say that
like
I haven't seen. From what I saw from Philly, I wasn't impressed enough. The way that we fought against Jacksonville, Philly didn't do anything that impressive against Minnesota. You're only as good as your last game.
I don't think Minnesota was really supposed to be in that game anyways, though. You know, I think the Eagles kind of had that easy road into the bowl once they lined up with Minnesota.
So
I mean, Minnesota should have been more of a fight. I mean, watching them all year, even they were fire all year, and they had Philly had a backup quarterback. They should have made that a closer game, but
he was still a starter quarterback, even though he's a backup now. Foles was a starter at one point.
So was Keenum too. So I guess it was level playing ground.
The same problem that Jacksonville had, though. They did great all year, but they've never played against a team like the Pats.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they look so great.
Young blood, all high, and first quarter we were kicking your ass. Yeah, it's first quarter, bro. Who gives a shit?
I guarantee that the locker room at halftime, they weren't even worried. We do this all the time.
No. Yeah,
I would start playing the ball to the third quarter.
Yeah, you saw that. Right?
I started pacing my room right before the end of the first half.
All right, let's
Figure I'd put it in the beer.
Let's kick this off.
Yeah, go for it.
Nice.
This is Off Color Discussions. I am your host, Joe B. Sit with me, my man, Billy C, as always and ever. This episode is brought to you by, usually on that side, Smoke Proper. Go to smokeproper.com. Find yourself a nice sweatshirt, rolling kit, t-shirt. Save yourself 10%. Use OCD at time of checkout. We're also brought to you by Iconic Construction. Mention the podcast to them while you're booking a project. Save 10% on getting a deck, siding, or
tax return time.
Any interior work, man. It's a good time of year to be doing it. This episode is also brought to you by the beer store in Nashua. This week they brought us
the Ipswich Ale Brewery, Ipswich 1620. It's a New England style IPA. It's got a nice hazy look to it, a little bit of an unfiltered beer. It's pretty delicious.
I think
honestly.
I like New England style IPAs. They're always like that hazy, citrusy thing. Like I think I'm becoming a fan of those. We are sitting with Chad Michael Whittaker, who's been on the podcast before, talking about Kiani and his solar expedition, entrepreneur. Tonight we're sitting with Chad and hustler. Chris, talking about some cryptocurrency and then just some other shenanigans and bullshit that we like to get down about. Welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Very different than the last time you were here, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, upgrades to the studio, and it's big things for you guys. I like it.
Not a single awkward moment right there. Not one. We're actually getting the hang of this thing.
Very slowly.
So how are we doing tonight?
Doing great.
Yeah. So I'm just going to jump right into it because we were talking right before we started. This cryptocurrency has been in the news a lot lately, and they had a big boom at the end of the year. Can you just kind of give a quick, for anybody who doesn't really know what cryptocurrency is, kind of a quick synopsis of what people are buying into and investing money into and where it's supposedly supposed to be going, what this is supposed to be?
Best way to describe it, it's basically a decentralized, we call it a currency. Realistically, it's not technically a currency because there's not a lot of places that are actually accepting it for purchases. But it's a decentralized store of wealth or commodity or asset that people are investing into because it is shown to have some incredibly high return on investment for the people who take the time to do their research and actually look into what they're investing into. I tell people it's, you can look at it one of two ways. You can do your research and put money into it and you're investing, or you can buy on the hype and throw money without doing your own research and you're gambling.
Now, this isn't like gold, is it? Like, people tend to invest in gold. You can't just go to the supermarket and drop a gold, brick down and be, like, paying for your groceries.
Well, now you can.
Is it the same sort of thing?
There is a company that you can buy with gold, and they give you, like, a debit card, basically.
For what the gold is worth?
Yeah, and, I mean, it will run, like, through your credit card machine and all that, and then basically they're scraping off whatever to sell whatever you just spent. Is it?
I think I have heard of this.
Yeah, I think it's based out of like Australia or something, but it's.
Now, is this are a lot of these companies based in the U.S.? Are they not really based anywhere? They're just
most of them aren't based. Yeah, most of them aren't based in the U.S.
Right too. It moves. Man.
Actually, not too long ago, the SEC had passed some regulation preventing companies from even being able to market to U.S. Residents.
Okay.
For the very beginning, it's called an ICO. In stocks, it's IPOs. In cryptocurrency, it's ICOs, initial coin offerings. And so with ICOs, the SEC said that there's too much volatility in it. People don't really know where it's going. There are a lot of companies that have come out that are scams, and you have to do some solid research to actually figure out what is and what isn't. So because of it, the SEC has cracked down and said that most ICOs can't even be marketed to U.S. residents.
Okay.
Chris and I were actually involved in one. And they had to refund us once they found out that we bought here in the U.S.
Okay.
However, once it goes after the ICO stage and has its initial crowdfunding and makes it onto an exchange, then anybody's welcome to buy it. A lot of them are based over in Europe. A lot of them are based in Asia.
Okay.
So there's a couple that are here. As far as I'm aware, I think Ripple is technically based in the U.S. I know IOTA has an office in Chicago, but primarily they're overseas.
Okay. Now, is there any kind of insurance with what you're doing? You're just basically you're taking a risk. I mean, obviously anything investing is a risk in general, but I mean, there's really no backing other than the word of the company that you're investing in.
Right. No, exactly. And that I mean, there are companies that are starting to come out and they're starting to release actual technology that's coming to market so people can see what they invested into and where it's coming. For example, Walton Coin. They are dealing with some of the counterfeits in Asia. Counterfeit purses, counterfeit, different just products. It's a huge issue. So Walton Coin, Ven, and Wabi, I believe is the third one, are all using RFID chip technology to be able to use, backed with blockchain to be able to, curb the counterfeit market. You can actually scan something and see where it was manufactured, backstories. Like, for example, if you're going to buy, a wallet or a purse by an Italian, manufacturer, you can see the exact leather that was bought and where it came from and stuff like that. You can put a backstory.
Okay.
So you can actually, you can cut down on counterfeit products. Not every coin, though, has that kind of technology on the market yet. A lot of it is just, theoretical. It's what they want to bring. But,
okay.
So it's like investing in any tech company before they became huge names.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah. I mean, think about back when, self-driving cars were still, a figment of our imagination.
Yeah.
People thought we were crazy, but if you would have bought into those companies that were building that technology, you'd be sitting on a gold mine yourself, so to speak.
It's funny you use that as an example.
Well, I love the AI industry, and self-driving cars are just one of those
right.
dozens of tools that are carrying us into the next era.
Yeah.
And I think cryptos is going to be another thing that's just going to remap how we do business. The thing that really got me into the crypto side of it was really understanding the fiat currency side of it first. Understanding that things like the U.S. dollar don't really have a lot of weight to it. That your general populace out there today still thinks that money's backed by gold.
Yeah, no, it
That doesn't happen anymore. I'm sorry.
Hasn't since Nixon.
Right, and but your average American probably still thinks that, which is unfortunate. And then the other portion is the oil. The petrodollar.
Yeah.
Well, when oil starts to get traded in other currencies,
We got clean coal coming.
yeah, that's gonna devalue the U.S. dollar. So if these things still keep sliding in that manner, the U.S. dollar is not gonna be worth the paper it's printed on.
Well, that's the whole conspiracy theory about the petrodollar, right?
Which is
is
the
that
problem.
like
Yeah.
every time a country wants to get off of it, they go, it's time for a regime change. Get out of here, because
Yeah.
the petrodollar is only U.S. That's why we can print so
A
much.
lot of people don't understand. Like a lot of people know the name Gaddafi.
Yep.
Muammar Gaddafi. They don't understand why he was killed. It's because he was fighting to get oil sold
yeah.
in a different currency. So, that's the big picture between when someone or other countries try to do something that's going to harm the U.S. and the U.S. dollar, we go in for other reasons.
Yeah.
And we still get to our end goal, which is to maintain the U.S. dollar being the primary currency in the world. But it falls apart every time.
Yeah.
The Roman Empire fell apart because of currencies as well. America's not going to be, protected from anything like that happening. I think it's just happening at a much faster scale.
Absolutely.
Than, it doesn't take 1,000 or 2,000 years anymore for an empire to,
Right.
rise and fall. We're doing it in less than 300 years.
Right.
But I think crypto is going to be one of those big answers for how we go into the next wave of, doing business or handling our personal finances. I think the problem right now is it's just so new and no one really grasps it enough to start putting their own personal assets into it.
Now, by investing,
some of it is.
Oh, go
Sorry,
ahead.
I think some of it is you don't have that. Like when the dollar was first on the gold standard, you at least knew what it was backed by. With Bitcoin, there's nothing there. I mean, it's just that computer solving a math problem to create a coin, but there's nothing you can't like go, oh, I touched it. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing there. So you're putting in faith in something in a technology that unless you read.
The funny part to that though is a lot of our currency today is electronic.
Yeah.
Right.
Most people don't carry around wads of cash anymore. It's on a piece of plastic or it's on your computer screen.
Yeah.
So to think that like, cryptos aren't, really anything real because they can't hold, a Bitcoin. Well, that doesn't matter. Because most of the money is either digitized into your bank account out of thin air, the way we see it.
It's all numbers on paper.
It is.
I mean, and that's basically what this would be, right? I mean, you're not actually okay. So the way I understand it is you're not actually investing in a traditional like Wall Street style investment. You're investing in the future process of how this is going to be using, right? You're not actually investing in.
I look at it as a stock.
Okay, so it is like
really
a stock.
Look at it too much different. Right?
Okay, now is this like can you do this all through like day trading or so this is all something you can manage yourself at home from your laptop and do yourself as long as you're willing to do the research and not get yourself in any kind of financial ruin.
Right. And I think that's the problem right now is there's so many options out there, and they're not all coins. Some of them, like Chad was saying earlier, some of them are in the technologies. Electronic ledgers, versus the banking system doing their end. It has to shift over into the game, but right now it's such a small percentage of people that are utilizing it. And like Chad said in the beginning, you can't go to your convenience store and use a Bitcoin.
Eventually, you could though. I mean,
it's coming.
That's what they're working towards.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's always
done in some places.
Like Ripple, for example, is another cryptocurrency, but they are actually partnering with banks. And one of the major issues, I can't remember what channel it was on. I think it was Dollar Vigilante, I think I was following, and he was talking about how, for example, if you wanted to take $1,000 and send it over to somebody in Europe, the fastest way to do it in 2018 is to take $1,000 cash, put it in an envelope, put it on an airplane, and fly it to Europe. If you do an electronic transfer, there's so many hands in between that by the time the money actually gets there, it would just be faster using snail mail. And those are the kind of things that these technologies are able to fix. It's instant transactions.
Right.
And because it's decentralized, there's no changing it. If I want to send you $1,000, even though you may be anonymous and I may be anonymous, there's a ledger of that transaction.
Right.
And nobody can change that, and that's the beauty of it. You can't hack into a centralized banking system and bankrupt it. You can't drain money from people's accounts like that. It's decentralized, so everything has to be, approved on one end and on the other end, and because it's a constant ledger that's always evolving, there's no way to change one thing without corrupting the entire system. It's always going to continue to correct itself.
Okay.
And there is a finite amount of, for Bitcoin in particular, there's a finite amount of it, just like gold and silver. There is actually a finite amount. Have we mined it all? No, probably not. Right. But probably a majority of it, for gold as an example.
Right.
Bitcoins have, an expiration. There's going to be a set amount. We know the date of when we'll get to mining the final amount of that. So a lot of people, I mean, it's kind of weird, but a lot of people don't even understand that, you don't have to buy one whole Bitcoin.
Right.
Like, it's 10,000 or 15,000. Like, that's cool. Yeah, I don't own a full Bitcoin myself. Wish I did, getting there. But you don't have to own a full one. They're all in decimals of. And I still find it, kind of funny that some people still think, it's a whole coin. And you have to get one coin out.
Like a literal Mario coin.
Yeah.
You're just
But to piggyback on that, for people like us who are already, looking into this, that's a fantastic thing. Because look at Coinbase, for example. Coinbase has got extremely high transaction fees, but it's a very simple to use app, just like PayPal. Right? It's actually based on the same kind of platform as PayPal. They look almost identical when you're in the app. Coinbase, if you log into Coinbase and you don't know anything about cryptocurrency, you're going to see a couple of options. You're going to see Bitcoin, you're going to see Litecoin, you're going to see Bitcoin Cash, and you're going to see Ethereum, right? If you are seeing Bitcoin at $10,000, Litecoin at $150, Ethereum at $7,000, and Bitcoin Cash at $7,000, you're going to look at them and go, I can't afford any of that. Most people who are getting involved in cryptocurrency early on don't realize that you can just buy a fraction of it. So they look for the smaller coins that they could afford. So, for example, like I'm already invested in Ripple. If I'm invested in Ripple, Ripple's one of the major coins that Coinbase has said maybe could potentially be getting added onto their platform, in the next year. If that's the case, when people who are new to cryptocurrency start looking into it, they're going to go, oh, well, I can't buy a $10,000 Bitcoin, but I can buy 100 Ripple for $3 a piece. That skyrockets the price even further. So people who are looking into it early on are in a great position, because as it starts getting more and more mainstream, our penny investments now are going to be worth a lot more. I mean, I invested probably, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I invested in a coin that has already gone up 4 times in price. So
wow.
Good for you.
My return on investment was huge.
So some of the things we look for is, large exchanges that will, allow the trade, purchase and trade of cryptos in general. We're looking for other coins that are going to be established into the exchanges. And so we try to buy into those coins before they actually go live on that exchange, because that's when your value bump's gonna roll in. So you gotta, but it's a day-to-day. You gotta follow the right channels.
Yeah, I would imagine so. It seems like a lot of time where you're looking at a screen, trying to make sure that you're playing your ponies right.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where the day traders in the crypto industry come out
to
play.
Look at Wall Street, Christ! I can only imagine that you're looking at the same type of screens and like, it's going up here. No, China's down here. Fuck.
Yep, exactly.
Man.
Well, I mean, eventually something had to take over. We went from trading skins and harvests and stuff like that to a universal currency in the country. So I mean, why not go to a global currency where
Well, and
it's coming. I mean, people
that's how
get ready
fiat
for
currency
it.
came about. Fiat currency. If you were a silk manufacturer or whatever it was back then, if your business was silk, you would either have to have some kind of a currency to be able to have a guaranteed exchange for value, like this is worth 4 gold coins. Or back in the day, it used to be shells and things like that. You either had to have something like that, or you were carrying your entire product supply with you in order to trade. And the issue is that you had to trade it for somebody else who needed that exact product. You know? So fiat currency came out, and it gave the ability to have a universal trading system where you're like, okay, I need to trade this. I know it's worth this much. I'll give you this. You give me this. You don't have to buy my entire stock. You can just buy small amounts of what you need.
Right.
But then, obviously, I mean, with any kind of banking system that's centrally owned, corruption is able to take place. I mean, look at almost every world bank. They're all owned by the same families. They're not owned by the government. They're owned by the Rothschild family, which is the richest family in the entire world.
Really?
Oh yeah, almost every.
I mean, I heard the major banks are all owned by like 4 or 5 families.
Rothschilds.
But
I forget the other names.
Rockefellers, Rothschilds.
Soros,
DuPont Corporation has got a lot.
And so this is where we're hopefully heading towards. And now, is this?
Some people say hopefully. Some people do not, man. Some people are not on board with it.
A lot of people are scared of this new world order kind of, whatever it's turning into.
Demonized for so long because of the biblical sense of we're going to have the mark of the beast and whatever this could be.
Things couldn't get much worse right now.
I don't follow that way.
Your argument could fall right over to, money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's a necessary evil.
Right. And I mean, most people, I don't think the idea of something like this basically just being numbers traded through using people who use Apple Pay, people who use Samsung Pay, people who use their debit card with these new chips. That's all you're doing right now. The only difference is you can go to the bank and pull cash out. From that same account that you're just transferring numbers from one place to the next.
And we can do the same thing with cryptocurrencies. Right. It just has a few extra steps,
to be able to physically take something out and you'd be able to use it the same way.
I have friends who in the last 8 weeks have made over $50,000 off of a $3,000 investment with cryptocurrency just by day trading. And they can literally take that money out because there's apps like Coinbase, and all you have to do is trade your whatever currency you're using. So if it's IOTA or Ripple or whatever, you have to trade it back to Bitcoin because Bitcoin's the standard that everybody goes by, and then you can sell your Bitcoin for USD. And you can have that cash hit your bank account within a couple of hours. So,
do you think Bitcoin will be the standard going forward, or there'll be some other?
I think something else is going to take Bitcoin over. Bitcoin Cash, for example, is what's called a fork. Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash were always just Bitcoin, and then the global mind, people who are involved in Bitcoin, decided that there's a better way to do this. You can have faster transactions. You can have lower transaction fees. So they changed some of the algorithms and they forked off. Yeah. Bitcoin Cash, I think would easily take over Bitcoin over the next year because it's already catching up in value and transactions are faster, fees are a lot lower. So why not? Bitcoin, it set the bar. But I think that's all it really was. It was the standard, and now something else is going to take it over. But at least we know what the precedent is.
Right.
So
the pioneers never last long. They always get improved on it shortly after. I mean, look at social media. I mean, started with MySpace, and that didn't last long. And now look at Facebook. Yeah. People invested in that, and boom.
And even regular just currency. Even just regular currency. Like there's a coin called a half dime. Which it was before the nickel. My father-in-law is a collector. Nickel? No, they were before all that, but they're like tiny as dimes. But I mean, now if you can actually find one, they're worth a shit ton of money. Mm-hmm. But it's before the nickel. Like stuff evolves and changes, and you can either adapt with the change and go with it, or you can just tuck yourself away and go in a corner and hate everybody else that adapted and improved.
And like you said, it doesn't take thousands of years anymore to make these jumps in technology and evolution. Next 10 years is going to be, I think, a pretty interesting ride between this, the self-driving cars, which the reason I said that was funny that you use that as an example is because they've been in the news a lot lately too with the incidents that they've been having. So they're doing some investigation into that.
On Tesla.
No, actually, I don't believe it was a Tesla that was the problem.
There's been some reports.
Maybe it was a Tesla.
Having an accident.
That's because the guy fell asleep.
No, a
Shouldn't
guy
be
on
sleeping.
Well, see, the problem is people buy these cars that are marketed as self-driving cars. That doesn't totally take all the blame or responsibility of the person behind the wheel. You still have to be aware of what you're doing on the road. The car is these cars are too new of a technology for everybody to be working off of it, so you still have to pay attention to the road. But like some guy got hit on a motorcycle, car changed lanes, motorcycle went to pass him. I guess it didn't sense him in the sensors, changed back in the lane at 75 miles an hour and knocked the dude off and suffered some serious injuries. So now he's suing. I don't want to say it's Tesla because I'm not 100% sure, but
Tesla.
there's a couple of them out there.
Sounds
that are
like he
that.
drove into it.
Well, no, but that's the thing that people are saying, and now people are calling for, because anytime something bad happens and somebody can get a soapbox to jump on, now they're trying to put more regulations on these cars and stop them from going to market so quickly.
And
and
people that are scared of the change that's coming.
Yeah.
Regardless of how many hiccups we have along the way. I mean.
You watch Black Mirror?
Watch what?
Black Mirror. You
I
ever seen
still,
Black Mirror?
I still have not jumped on
dude,
that.
Black Mirror is a dope
See, you and I
show.
apparently have to jump
It
on this
is
because
a
I've been
dope
hearing
show. So the one that
nothing but
I
it.
just watched the other night, I won't give it the full thing, but it was like a self-driving pizza delivery truck, and this dude got hit by it. So there's an insurance claim. So there's a woman that goes out to verify that your claim is accurate. Through your memories and witnesses' memories, like it's fucked up. Like I don't want to say any more than that because that's just a piece of what the actual story is about for that show. But that show is awesome, especially if
He's
you're
smiling
looking
because
into.
you've seen it.
I
You've
saw
seen
that.
it.
I
It's
literally
great.
just watched that episode.
Yeah, dude, it's
I keep hearing
great
about this show,
episode.
so I'm
Like,
gonna have to jump on it.
As much as like technology's in it changing and advancing and stuff, it gives you kind of like what could happen as far as like technology is concerned because of where we're going, where the path is headed as far as
It's
changes
inevitable.
and stuff like that. Yeah,
It really is.
They
Until we
take
get nuked
current
out.
technology and trends, they over exaggerate it a
Yeah.
little bit, and then they turn it into a really good episode. Like one of my favorites, and I hated the episode because it reminded me of where society is today, but I thought it was an eye opener for anybody who pays attention. Is the one where the girl had to get social media
the likes,
Her
yeah.
credit score was based on her social media status.
That's
so,
fucked.
But
so
I would have
some
the worst
companies
credit
have
score
done
on
that,
that.
though.
And
But
nobody
some
likes me.
companies have done that.
Shittiest
though.
people would have the best credit scores.
Look at my ass and my duck face.
I can buy whatever I
million
want.
likes.
5 stars, 5 stars. Like
Jeez.
that's
Oh,
how
yeah,
it works.
We'll finance whatever
Did you hear
want.
about all these Hollywood stars that are getting called out for buying these likes?
That
Buying, like hiring these fake profiles? I mean, not that I don't think it's whatever. You want to do that for likes on Instagram, fine. Spend your money how you want.
They do
but-
it because if
Narcissism at
they
its
feel that if
Right.
I don't think it's that. I think they
not a
feel
big
that
enough star.
if you see something that everybody else has liked or allegedly liked, then you're gonna go, shit, must be all right, and check it out. And I think that's what they're trying to build instead of building
Society
like
of followers.
right. But instead of the, I won't ever pay for likes. Like it's organic. You either like us, you like what we're about, or you fucking don't. Like I don't give a shit. I'm not here for you. I'm here for me, for him, and to hang out and have fun and drink beer with whoever wants to hang out and have fun, talk some cool shit.
You can't buy quality poop stories like we put out, man. You can't buy those.
That was a good poop story.
That was a great poop story. So, do you think this is a viable option for people to have as a currency to take care of their finance within 10 years?
So-
this is something people are going to be using. We're going to be shifting towards. Don't be scared of
Right.
it. Just do your research.
Yeah, and that's really the way I look at it. I think that 10 years from now, it's going to be our currency. That's my personal opinion.
Like fully.
I think fully, and within 10 years, I think we will be off of fiat currencies, and cryptocurrency will be the wave of the future. I really do.
What is fiat currency? again?
Fiat currency is your standard currency, is your U.S. dollar. It's a currency that's being based or backed by a government. So U.S. dollar, the yen, the euro, the Great British Pound, things like that.
Didn't they go back to that, or are they going back to that? The Great British Pound.
I'm pretty sure
with the Brexit thing.
I'm pretty sure Britain still uses the pound.
Britain used the pound, they used the stone, and they used the euro, depending on.
Well, see, I thought they were getting away from the euro with the Brexit thing.
Well, they were
not being part of that.
They were still. They'll accept it, but it wasn't like they weren't a part of it as far as how is it? Like their money is not drawn off the euro.
The EU.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, I don't think people should be scared of this at all, but
I think
without intrinsic value.
I think people are afraid of change, but
oh, for sure.
But at the same time, in order for us to have any kind of
that seems like a bad
technological or
idea.
societal advancements, there has to be change.
Jesus.
That
just sounds like a bad idea.
What?
Fiat currency is fiat money is a currency without intrinsic value established as money, often by government regulation. It has assigned value only because the government uses its power to enforce the value of a fiat currency, or because the exchanging parties agree to its value.
It's only it's only useless because the government pushes it.
Right. Back to what we were saying
So
earlier.
that's
the U.S. dollar isn't based on gold anymore.
No.
It's being based on oil.
It's based
from
off
the Middle
oil.
East.
Yeah.
They print the shit out of it.
And if it wasn't for the petrodollar, the U.S. dollar would not have any value on a global scale whatsoever.
Here is really the only place you'd be able to use it.
Right.
There's two main reasons.
Yeah, but it'd only be if businesses accepted it.
Right.
If 7-Eleven was like, no, that dollar's not worth shit today. You got $5 for a $1 item. They could do that.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm a former Marine. I've been overseas a couple times.
Oh, thank you for your service.
I was in Iraq. Yeah, you're welcome. And I tell you that there's only two reasons why we're in the Middle East and why we've been in the Middle East. One's opium. A lot of people don't understand that. That flies under the radar. That flies under the radar all day. No one ever talks about the opium. It's mostly Afghanistan, but most of over 90% of their opium is sent back to the U.S. So you got a lot of CIA ties in the Afghanistan war because of the opium trade, and then the other half of it is controlling the oil resources in the world because of the U.S. dollars attached to it. A lot of people think it's terrorism and everything else. A lot of that stuff is just
right.
It's just wool over the eyes to keep the public fighting for the right reasons.
Right.
But it's not the case. It's all about controlling the U.S. dollar and its value, as they just continue to print and print and print whenever they need to. That's the problem with the whole system.
Man.
You start making a couple changes. If China and Russia or whoever start to buy and sell oil in a different currency, the U.S. dollar is no longer the strong suit.
Right.
So now it's going to fall on its face, which now shifts our global power down.
Does this totally eliminate Wall Street and trading that way?
I think that's what's taken it so long to become mainstream.
It's because it's holding it back. Wall Street is just
ruin everything that all the rich fucks are used to right now.
It's just gonna crash and burn that shit. Now
with Wall Street, I mean, you're investing in a company, right? I mean, it's still the value of whatever that company is producing to an extent. I'm sure not all of them are perfect.
Well, you can invest in currencies as well, foreign exchange.
Right, and that's something to realize as well, is that cryptocurrency is different than fiat currency. They are the polar opposite, but it doesn't mean that the companies that are on Wall Street are not also looking into the benefits that blockchain technology can add to their business. Right. Like, for example, I just invested in Stellar Lumens a little while ago, which is a fork from Ripple. Ripple is the one that I said is working with all the different banks, whereas Stellar Lumens is actually decentralized the way Ripple, and other fiat currencies should be or claim to be. But the beauty with losing my train of thought. Stellar Lumen. Nope, lost it again. Sorry.
Well, okay. So what I'm curious about is
Stellar Lumen. Okay, so
quick.
IBM, right? IBM is behind Stellar Lumen. You have IOTA, who just signed a partnership with Bosch. What?
Wow.
Who signed up with Vita? Volkswagen just signed up with crypto.
IOTA as well.
Okay.
Volkswagen didn't
moves.
didn't sign a formal partnership. One of the executives from Volkswagen is working on the IOTA project.
Really?
And then Bosch has a investing portion of their company that also just partnered with IOTA. So Lumens just partnered with IBM, and they Venn just partnered with is it DNLGV, I think it is. It's some huge European company. It's a securities and exchange kind of company. And so you have these huge, standard companies. Your companies that have been around for over hundreds of years that are now seeing what blockchain can add, and they are getting involved in backing it. So it's becoming more and more accepted on a daily basis.
Now, by partnering, do you mean helping move this along, or
putting money into it,
being able to use it?
Oh, both.
For those products that are
investing into it, like adapting their
Right.
that technology into their own technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like IOTA doesn't use blockchain; it uses what's called Tangle, and Tangle is based on the premise of being able to connect the Internet of Things. So everything that has some kind of a Wi-Fi connection should be able to share information with each other. Bosch used it to hook up to all of their weather sensors to see how accurately it was recording information and things like that. Samsung, Microsoft have already discussed a potential partnership in the future with IOTA.
Oh, Microsoft's gonna jump all up on that as soon as the time's right.
Right.
Microsoft will.
And that's the exact reason why I want to be invested in these companies before those major pushes come out. Because once somebody hears Microsoft, you could see IOTA go from $3 a coin to $100 a coin just overnight.
Mentioned in the same breath as potentially, you're going to see things blow up.
It's creating that validation that a lot of the, the amateurs in the cryptos are looking for. Guys like ourselves, we're not experts by any means necessary, but we've been following it long enough now to understand that you have to have certain things coming into the picture in order for it to become a real value down the road. Yeah. Like when we see Microsoft or whoever, is looking at or will start adopting these technologies, that's a buying signal all day. So now you got to find out if it's really going to happen or not. Yeah. Start making your purchase. That's when you're taking your gambles. Is this really going to come to fruition, or is Big Daddy government going to shoot it down?
Now, is that a problem later? Like when we get to this 10-year point that we're talking about, where we're using this is a daily basis thing. We're using this to pay our finances, our car payments, stuff like this. Is there a fear of it being centralized again, to be regulated and not privatized by individual companies that are doing it? Like, how can you protect yourself?
It can't be regulated, it can be regulated. It can't be centralized. Because every individual computer, like if you know about like the mining behind it, right? Like look at Bitcoin, for example. Right. In order to process Bitcoin, your computer is going through different mining algorithms, and it's verifying transactions, and for every transaction verified, you get rewarded in Bitcoin, right? Right. Well, those computers that are mining it aren't a computer that's owned by the government. They're individually owned.
That's what computers. I'm talking about.
So
by centralizing it, does the government
could the government potentially regulate it? Yes.
And take control over the whole industry.
But if the government regulates Bitcoin to that extent, Bitcoin would cease to exist. It wouldn't be a thing anymore because the purpose of what it actually is. Exactly. Right. Bitcoin is developed to be a decentralized currency that people can use to exchange with other people without having to have the government determining what the value is behind it.
The rate of but if you're using one company at a different rate than another company, they're going to be different, right? Like they could be I'm trying to just picture how we're using this on a daily basis to where there's no.
So basically, when we talked before about it, what you could do if you own IOTA and you wanted to pay off.
Is it all based in investment in the coin itself?
Kind of. So, or I don't want to say kind of. I don't know. Hold on. So, if you wanted to buy this keyboard, but you only had IOTA, you would basically buy Bitcoin with your IOTA and use the Bitcoin to buy your keyboard, right?
So right now,
so there would be one like standard that works everywhere, and the rest are just like stocks of whatever.
Which basically, you would all manage yourself, or is this something that you would have like banks be doing that stuff for you? Because the average person isn't gonna take time to.
10 years from now, we have no idea. Right. Financial planners right now, like my financial planner, has told me to my face, I cannot advise you on cryptocurrencies. I could actually lose my licenses for advising.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
However,
he invests.
He's also a buddy of mine, so then he'll tell me, under the table,
Of
by the
course,
way,
yeah.
this is how much money I just made and whatever he invested in, you know? So it's one
Right.
of those things where, yeah, you got to be very, very careful about it. And, you know, like, people ask me for advice all the time just because I post stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, so I tell them all the time, like, you got to understand, like, you can't give, you have to be very careful. You cannot be giving financial advice to people on whether they should or should not be investing in this kind of stuff, because it's entirely possible the government regulation could come out tomorrow and I could lose every single penny I just invested. It's also possible that this could just continue to grow over the next 10 years and I could become a multi-millionaire just from my cryptocurrency investments.
Right.
You know, so what I say is never invest more than what you could, you know, you could lose, like what you can afford to lose. Like, instead of going out and spending $100 at the bar with your buddies, take the $100, put it into Bitcoin. You know what I mean? But it's got to be your fun money, your fuck you money. It can't be money that, you know, you need to pay bills because what happens if it does, you know, go ass over tea kettle. Like,
It's basically got to be disposable income that you're using, that if you lost it, you understood the risks going in.
Right.
Which is pretty much any investment. I mean, you shouldn't be investing or spending with outside your means anyways for that kind of stuff.
But some investments are far more secure than others.
Right.
You know, like you can feel more comfortable investing into stocks because the chances of you making an ROI on that is a hell of a lot better than putting it into a bank account that has a 1% annual return on investment. You know what I mean? If you have a 1% interest rate, you're not going to make shit. You know, but if, you know, stock market, you know, 10% a year is fantastic. So, I mean, you know, some things that you can put your money into are definitely more secure than others. Bitcoin is one of those ones where nobody has any idea where it's going to guaranteed go, but we see enough value because of the technology that we already have. I mean, if we didn't have our computers and our iPhones and everything we have now, we wouldn't understand what's going on with cryptocurrencies. But we at least have a baseline of technology that's out there, and now all we're doing is building and expanding upon that to make it something better.
It's funny to fuck around with technology so much when other people are like, I'm going off grid, fuck this shit. Like, I'm so out with this. Like, people, like, no Wi-Fi signals, no nothing. Like, just completely go dark. And then you have some people are like, fuck, man, I'll take that chip right here. You want to make me a cyborg? Let's go, man. I'll take that arm and go iRobot. I'll give a
I'm
fuck.
right in the middle.
You want to take a robot arm?
Nah.
Dude, I would so take a robot arm.
I don't know. It depends, maybe.
Will Smith iRobot arm?
Yeah, I might take it. I mean, if I lost my arm, I think I'd take a robot
cut that
arm.
shit off. Fucking get that arm.
You want to donate your arm so you can get a robot arm?
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'll sign me up. I'll be a stooge. Or guinea pig, whatever you want to call him.
Can you imagine the cost of mechanic maintenance yearly?
I just have to make sure it's not that arm.
What happens if it
Can we
seizes
like,
up?
throw a solar panel on it so it just always works?
Can I hook this up to this panel to charge?
Yep.
You're at work at lunch and you got to plug a USB in your arm just to keep that shit working.
It'd be fun. Maybe. I mean, it could be. I heard
Say it'd be
about,
fun till you don't
I
like
heard
your
about this
robot arm anymore.
they have like drops that you can put in your eyes so you can get night vision for a while.
Really?
I have seen those, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I mean, it's probably not safe by any means. It can go horribly wrong.
Yep.
But like
Somebody figured it
it's
out
like
by cracking
temporary
out.
drops that you can put in your eyes that will give you like nice night vision for a while.
Wow. Interesting.
So,
Never heard of that.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
used real night vision before, which is not easy to work with.
yeah,
For
yeah. Well,
Does
because
it
you're
make you
looking
like
through the
nauseous at first?
It messes up your depth perception.
Yeah.
It's hard to walk.
I figure that's because you're looking through a lens, though, right? Not looking through like your eyes. If it was like Vin Diesel shit in pitch black, then it'd
Right.
probably be a lot different. Versus, not that that's what this was. It wasn't. It just gave you like I think they said an outline up to like 250 feet that they were able to see. Like
Still a damn
like
good
silhouettes.
That's a-
You know
that's
what
a
I mean?
long
So,
fucking
like,
distance.
For a nighttime operation, if you can see more than 30 feet in front
Yeah.
of you, that's a good
especially when
advantage.
they.
For some eye drop shit? Hell yeah.
But fuck. Oh man.
rabbit hole.
Yeah, I know, right?
Gonna go home
We
and
gotta be
research
careful.
this now.
They put the keyboard in front of me,
Don't
so
get
Tut,
Chad-
tut,
don't get Chad going on rabbit holes.
We started. I think was it the last time you were here, or the time when you were on the podcast? I think we started. We drifted off into
We did.
conspiracies for a little
Oh,
bit. And
yeah.
it's like, all right, I gotta take all that out because that has nothing to do with
Yeah.
what we're talking about. You know? It's like this is not.
it happens more often than not, though.
Yeah.
It's
the
interesting shit though.
Yeah.
Like
YouTube rabbit holes. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, regardless of whether you think it's 100% on point or it's absolutely crazy, you can entertain yourself for hours on end just going through rabbit hole stuff. Any kind of conspiracy theory.
I've been at it for over a decade.
Yeah. But a lot of the stuff that you find, it just makes too much sense, and you start connecting way too many dots, and you're like, it makes you question. Like I grew up in a Christian church, preschool to 8th grade. I was in a private school. I was in church every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, every Wednesday night for youth group. That was my life for up until I started high school.
Molested twice?
Huh?
Molested twice?
No, never molested. That's Catholicism. I was Christian.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah, see, there's a difference.
That's all.
Yeah, nope. No priests, no altar boys, nobody trying to put
Less
their finger in my
chanting.
poop chute, nothing like that. So. But no, I mean, so the more I've looked into just different religions and different rabbit holes and different stuff, all the books that were taken out of the Bible and stuff like that, I have a hard time ever believing what I was indoctrinated with for the vast majority of my life, because I'm like, I feel like I would have to be naive and blind to think that that's the only way and the only truth to whatever is out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've considered myself agnostic at this point, because I've gotten to the point where I'm like,
I can't trust anything.
Mormonism has stuff that makes sense. Christianity has stuff that makes sense. Buddhism has stuff that makes sense. Islam has stuff that makes sense. So it's like, how do you say this is the only right way to go? You know what I mean? The more you look into different things, it's like they want the masses to stay blinded. They don't want people to know what's actually out there, because maybe people just can't fucking handle it.
Yeah, no, I think the way I've heard it the best is being you should be skeptical of everything.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not saying don't believe everything, but you should at least
Don't
question.
believe blindly,
At least question.
Right.
Like, and you should be able to talk openly and question everything.
I always hated religion for the majority of my life until I hit probably my mid to late 20s. I started having a different perspective on just the whole religion in itself. I just always thought it was brainwashing, no matter what kind of brainwashing you were getting, whether it be, Islam, Catholic, Christian, doesn't matter what you were getting, Methodist. I always just thought it was all brainwashing. And then my perspective on it changed. Like, I don't even know what I would be under a religious
Mexican
moniker. No, just mean like
religion?
like agnostic or atheist, or like, I'm definitely not Catholic. There's way too many rules and exercises with that. But I just think it fits to my perspective changed to it just fits whatever religion that you have. If it fits your life, then fine. It's not that I've ever hated it.
It's a
like
great
labels.
moral background.
Right.
It's a great building block. Like that's the one thing I took from from growing up in a Christian school. Like, I know right from wrong. I know how to treat my fellow man without being, I know how not to be a dickhead on a daily basis.
Right.
You know.
Well,
Could you
on a
have
daily
known it without?
basis.
But
Could you have known it without?
and I'm sure I probably could have. But they do. There's a strong foundation that you build when you're indoctrinated with it from from early on. So I mean, I definitely took a lot of value from it. But as I grew and matured and started looking and thinking for myself, I realized that I just can't blindly believe in what they want me to believe in.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, I lived in the Midwest for my formidable early teen years. So, I mean, that's the Bible Belt. That's Oklahoma. That's Texas. That there's a way of living there that they live, and I just always thought that views that some people had and the basis in which they had those views just seemed ignorant. So I always rejected religion in general. But hey, once I had kids, it was like, now I'm at that moral crossroads where I'm not religious, but my wife is. So where do you go with that? Right. So, they do their thing. But, I mean, I try to be involved. But I'm not going to get baptized just to be part of it. That's just not me. But didn't mean to go that. I was
We'll take a break right there.
I was going to lead into my 3-hour YouTube rabbit hole on Antarctica the other night.
Jesus,
Oh my
it's one of
God.
my favorite subjects.
Oh my God. I watched one 5-minute video and it ended up 3.5 hours later.
Take a break. We'll come back to
on
that
that
right
note.
there.
Start with Admiral Byrd, and next thing you know, you're believing there's people living in the middle of the earth. to get schooled.
It's not
I'm
school.
not a comic fan either.
Not at all.
It's
know
fine.
I know the basic
It's not
ones.
even that I am so much anymore. Like I am, but I'm not as diehard as when I was a kid. A lot
Right.
of that shit, minus what I bought from him, is from when I was a kid. That's what I have in my
And
childhood.
all those are from my
That's
childhood.
It. Out of all my childhood, that's what it is. That's all I got from all the moving around, everything I did. That's the only thing that I have that I can go. I've had this for X period of time.
Yeah.
You're like
You know what I
Debo
mean? Like-
for comic books.
I'm not.
They're
but
both
shut
of
the
ours,
fuck
but
up, bro.
they're both of ours. But we just keep it at my house.
That's right. So
It's got the flash up there.
right. So in
You saw the
the
cards?
90s, right? In the 90s, the DC versed Marvel for a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I remember
Okay,
that.
so they had like I think it was a 4-part miniseries, DC vs Marvel, and they had them all fight to save the universe. Whatever. Going back, the art it's cheap. It was a good story.
Yeah.
But then they combined characters at the end of the miniseries. They did like a short stint of the characters formed together because the story from the verses is they combined at the end. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I know.
From a 20-something-year-old comic
Spoiler
story.
alert.
I have a feeling he's not jumping right into those.
I can
No,
clearly
right?
tell
So-
who that is.
Oh yeah, right. So
Yeah.
the two badass characters ever, right there, fucking Wolverine and Batman. How do you not like Darklaw?
I've just never heard of Darklaw, so
Yeah,
I
fair
saw
enough.
that, and I'm
So-
like, those are two of
So-
my favorite. Those are two of my favorite characters. I love Wolverine,
Fuck yeah.
and I love Batman.
I hadn't
So I'm
either.
like, I saw that, and I'm like, what is this? Why have I never heard of this before? That looks awesome.
Superman and Captain America merged. They were the Super
Okay.
Soldier.
Yep, I've heard of the Super Soldier though.
Never that one.
I
Oh.
know.
You never heard of that? Because see how it says #1? That's the only one they put out. 'Cause it was
Hey
bad.
man, I don't give a shit. I wish.
Whatever.
No way. It was good. Jubilee was mixed with Robin. You know
They're-
what I'm saying? Like
Man.
it was a good story.
They're,
She's
the
not really a
Joker.
sidekick, though.
who is
No.
Joker mixed with?
Hyena or some
Okay.
fucking like weird cheetah thing. Like I couldn't tell you the Marvel
Joker?
side. Yeah.
Wait.
Like he looked cool. He looked like a hyena. It's not Sabretooth.
It wasn't
I-
Sabretooth?
No, yeah,
No?
that I
would've
do
been my
know.
first
Yeah.
thought, right.
Did you see they're doing a Masters of the Universe reboot?
They should. They were supposed to do one a while ago. They used to have it like kind of like what they did with Deadpool years ago, when they released just the teaser trailer. That head cut. You never saw that when it got leaked. Allegedly, somebody dropped the trailer.
Oh
Ryan
wait, are we
Reynolds.
talking like
The car
crappy
scene where he
Origins
drops-
Deadpool
No,
or like
no,
real
no, no,
Deadpool?
no.
It was
Real
the
Deadpool.
animated version. The animated version of Deadpool. There was like a small 2 or 3 minute long video, and it was Deadpool, and it was the car scene where he
Wait, drops it
down
off the
into
bridge.
sunroof, right? And he fucks everybody up.
Oh,
and-
okay.
Yeah, and then that was an actual scene in the movie, but they just gave you the CGI version of it
Yeah.
in like
Gotcha.
a leaked.
I'll have to check
Yeah,
that out.
it leaked, and it was Ryan Reynolds that did the voice
Right.
in the leaking.
All right.
Or
Or
not
did the
leaking,
leaking.
but-
If I
leaking,
remember right, I
like-
think it was one of his Ryan. I think Ryan Reynolds released it saying, "I should be Deadpool" or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that. It's like that's what it was.
Oh, so that was basically that Kickstarter promo. Like
Right.
he's trying to get some investment on that movie. So that was like the original promo for it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
dude, that shit was,
was
dope,
wicked cool.
and they kept it in. But
Yep. Yeah,
Nice.
that exact movie or the exact scene to a T was just taken from CGI and put into the movie. It was fucking fantastic.
I don't see any Wonder Woman up there though. I
you
see
know,
Catwoman.
He's sexist.
I see Catwoman.
I mean, I hope the mics were on. Were they on?
Oh yeah.
no, I don't have Wonder Woman. I was more of a Marvel fan, like
I was surprised
except for
that the
except
movie
for
was actually
Batman.
pretty damn good. Did you guys see the
I
Wonder
thought it was
Woman
actually
movie?
the best
No, I've not.
DC
My
movie.
kid saw it and it ruined it for me.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's actually a lot of action.
I know. I want to
What?
see it.
Wonder Woman, they have the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard great things, but I asked the kids. I'm like, oh, you want to go see this? We already watched it. Oh,
See, one of my problems with that movie was the same thing I have with a lot
Why?
of DC movies.
can't be watching this shit with
They either one don't release the full version, which they should, because
Yeah.
there's been 2 DC movies that have come out that have just been totally ruined. Me seeing them in the theatrical version, watching the extended version is a totally different experience. But with Wonder Woman, there was this weird, like, almost over animated CGI like parts of the fight scenes that just bugged me through the whole movie. Other than that, I thought it was the best like DC movie that they put out. I don't know, probably past 20 years.
Yeah, it wasn't boring. But
Man of Steel, I mean, aside, that's probably my favorite. But
They're coming out with Venom.
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
I'm
Yeah.
super pumped
perfect
about.
Venom, I think for casting. I'm not sure I'm okay with the suit. The
I
one that
haven't
I've
seen
seen.
it.
I haven't
You haven't seen
yet.
it?
No.
It almost looks like
I refuse to
You can
look
find
at
it.
You got the keyboard, bro. I'll give you the mouse,
We
man.
gave you the control.
Yeah, I don't.
Look, you're there.
You're there.
Blinky, blinky.
I'll see if I can find it. But yeah,
Google image.
the one I saw almost looked like
You get some hot broads and Venom outfits that do Google Images.
cosplay, baby, cosplay. Yeah, it was almost like a futuristic looking Spider-Man suit with like a Venom head, kind of like the mask of it. I know it's a head because he coats him, but I can't.
You put an S.
The pressure here.
It's.
I'm
You
not
know
a
how to
type.
type on a keyboard, boy?
Actually, no, I don't. I don't.
Tom Hardy
That's-
Venom, right there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't spend all day
Enter.
in a in an office.
That's true. You don't.
Click on image. Click up on images. Yeah, you sit at a desk all fucking day cruising Facebook. You can
On my phone,
You should be
and then
typing this
keyboard.
shit, not me.
I don't want to type, man. I type all day. You want to go? You want to go build a fence?
No,
No, right?
no. But yeah, I'm sure you can find it if you just look under the Google image section. Go back, but
This is not working
looks
the way it
weird.
was intended.
Right
just so
there.
you know. Like that?
I don't know.
They're not. They all
No,
look like.
no, there is one.
They all look CGI. That I don't. That's not him. That looks.
That's
like
not
the one,
it.
That's not it. That's the one from fucking
Spider-Man. That was a
Neither is
shitty Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
ruined Venom for me.
It's in there somewhere. I saw it posted on Instagram by Marvel the other day.
All I see is fake ones.
You
with-
sure it wasn't this one right here?
I'm
No.
saying.
Oh, thank God you got it.
No.
No,
Yeah,
because
see, that's all-
that's
That's the old one.
I'll
She's
see if I can find
comparing.
it.
Well, that was a fun stint. I'm done with that. We'll look later.
Go for it.
That's why I need the
Oh,
sound
no,
guy.
I'm definitely
Dude, like
dedicated
that-
to finding this. You go ahead, though.
So-
I'm gonna
Uh,
be pissed if they ruin that movie, though. He is my favorite Marvel villain or anti-hero or...
I could see that. Did you
Yeah.
watch Punisher on Netflix?
But
Holy fuck, dude.
yeah,
I haven't gotten into it yet.
Yeah, you should.
I know it's gonna be
I think
amazing. I
it's
just haven't
right
gotten
after
into it.
I
I'm
finished
so behind. I'm so fucking behind. There's so many Netflix Marvel series I haven't watched yet.
I watched it just because.
Haven't watched Jessica Jones. Haven't
Yeah,
watched...
dude, that-
I was like, oh, Shane's in this movie.
Did you watch
Oh,
Daredevil?
No.
Dude, those
I
are
didn't watch
good.
Daredevil was
Like
pretty
Daredevil, it's not too superhero-y, and the violence is comparable, man. Especially the one season 2 when the Punisher comes into it. It's
Right,
like
because they're all tied together, right?
yeah, like it's a good ass season. The other ones were good, but I think a little softer. But they all had Iron Fist sucked, but I just that one sucked. I haven't watched the Defenders because I don't want to see Iron Fist. I thought Jessica Jones was good. There was more sex in that than I was expecting. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And then Luke Cage had a good soundtrack. I mean, it was good fight scenes. Like other than that, but you could tell like. Punisher violence wise compared to the other ones, Daredevil's where it's at. And it's the second season, dude. When Punisher comes in,
Yeah, that was definitely a badass show.
but yeah, that was a good show. How's the solo going? I know you
Awesome.
guys started talking out there when we took
Yeah,
a break,
no, it's
but
great.
you got
It's you know, it's all legislation. Solar is 90% legislation.
that's the old one.
right. But that's
That's
the
not-
one that they posted the other day. It wasn't in this position, but he was standing on the top of a building. But it was similar to this one.
Yeah, no, that's totally from the
He
Spider-Man
looks
movie.
way too.
That's the original Spider-Man movie.
That's from the third Spider-Man movie where they had.
I don't know.
You see what I'm
with-
saying? How it
yeah,
looks like
with Topher
Spider-Man's
Grace.
kind of. Yeah,
No, it almost seems like a fan made one.
but
Like it's like the Tobey Maguire suit, but then with the face painted on, but not the
Yeah.
CGI quality of such a the Topher Grace horrible travesty where they killed the franchise and then had to reboot it twice.
so yeah, that was the one I saw basically. I know, not all that impressive.
When's that coming out?
I don't even think they've started. Filming
They
it,
just
yeah.
they just finished they just
Oh, they
wrapped
just
up
wrapped it.
filming.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know, probably 3 months.
Yeah.
I forget the date.
I'm waiting for Bad Boys 3. That's coming out this
Is that official? Like they're
yeah.
definitely
It's coming out
like
this year.
that's. Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's about damn time. It's been
I
like
know,
9
right?
years.
Martin Lawrence needed some work.
Yeah.
Will Smith been staying busy. Bright wasn't that bad.
I like.
Did you watch? You watched Bright, right?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I mean, it was
As
a
far
little
as,
bit
like, some
TV
self-made-
movie-ish
It was
for Will
definitely-
Smith, but
definitely racial.
oh yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean that's the whole
It
thing.
was
It was
heavy,
definitely
yeah.
it was a play on social commentary
Yeah.
of
yeah.
this is us, this is the minorities. I mean, I got the story,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was.
It was pretty thick. I was surprised, but overall, it was a pretty good action movie though.
See, I didn't know it was a movie going in.
I thought it was a show.
I did too. I thought it was like a season 1, so I thought they might have had a little bit more time to go in depth and not be so racial and like action packed. But yeah,
Orcs and Humans. You haven't seen it?
I'm glad Martin Lawrence is coming back to
Man,
the
that's
screen.
because you busy as
It's a movie on Netflix.
Yes. Yeah.
Will Smith and all
Yeah,
that.
and he's got the orc for the partner.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And all the orcs are fucking gangsters.
It's
Nah,
really-
Netflix is crazy, man. But they're
Killing it.
They're where it's at.
Have you,
how do you
That's a
guys?
stock. That's a stock
How
we
is
should have.
will net neutrality affect cryptocurrency at all?
That's a good
Like
question.
how you know what I mean? Like if content providers, how did you handle that? You don't know yet. Is
Internet speed and all that
You ever,
shit.
you ever
don't know?
thought
No
about
idea.
that? Like how that would affect if you can't get on because I mean on your phone it's different, right? Because you're not on.
No, I
Well,
think-
T-Mobile, I mean,
Well,
could
I
still
mean-
restrict it and make you pay out the ass
Isn't
to be able, huh?
Is it? Well, most people are. I don't know about you guys. but
Coinbase it's an app, right?
Well, no,
so
I
you
mean-
use most of it from your phone. I'm assuming.
My
Yeah.
phone's on Wi-Fi more than it is on my mobile network. I think between.
but even still,
the
so
places
if,
you go,
right? So your cable company
controls that.
controls your Wi-Fi.
so, yeah.
So one way or another, you could get
Right.
fucked in the end. Does that affect
I have
cryptocurrency? Do you
no
think?
idea.
Do you think that's how the government shuts
Might
it
be.
down?
I haven't
That's why
looked,
that's why they
transactions.
repealed it, right?
haven't looked far enough into it yet. But I mean, just thinking
Well, I don't
about
think it's
it, what would
officially
make-
repealed.
What would make logical sense for me is that with net neutrality, if whatever ends up happening with it, it's like Comcast, right? Where you pay per how many channels you get. So if that was the case, then I would pay for a certain. I would pay an additional whatever the price is to be able to get a VPN and then use that VPN to go to whatever websites I wanted to go to. Same way I would skirt the SEC regulation on SEOs right now. You know, you use the VPN to have it show that you're broadcasting from an entirely different country. Your IP address shows up from fucking Norway,
Right.
and then you go about it that way. I mean, because I my understanding is that net neutrality is going to be like you would be paying for whatever websites you can go to and paying for speed and stuff like that, similar to how
Well, it's not
right
gonna-
now Wi-Fi on your cell phone, right? When
Yeah.
you hit a certain amount of usage, they drop down your speed drastically. It would basically be the same thing. You would just have to pay more for speed, but
Well, you'd end up paying more for anything. I mean, they would be allowed to break it down. It's not just your broadband speed. It's your surfing habits, your websites that you normally go to.
Mm-hmm.
Half of them could be in one package and half of them could be in the other package, and you either can't access them or you have to pay more to get them both. So
What is that?
where's that?
I hope
coming
it's
from?
not. I hope it's not like the website I saw the other night when I walked in.
Is that your phone?
No.
I don't know what that was. That was weird.
So stop talking about that government shit.
Yeah. Was that a warning? Never mind.
Sir just dropped the mic on us.
Yeah,
Right?
never
See,
mind.
that's that shit, right? That's why nobody wants to talk conspiracy because as soon as you do, your shit goes
Shows
off.
go down.
I ain't scared.
Every time we talk some conspiracy shit, it goes off.
Yeah.
It's fucking goddamn Eric Snowden, Edward Snowden,
Edward Snowden.
Eric.
It's his brother.
Yeah.
Eric's like, fuck, I didn't do shit.
You okay over there?
Yeah, no, I'm good. How's the? Are you all right?
I'm all right.
How's the IOTA going?
All of cryptocurrencies over the last month or so have been.
They've gone back
shit.
up.
No,
Shit? No,
no,
they're
no,
gone.
they've been shit. Like right now, I think we have a sea of red. If I check my portfolio, I'm pretty sure every single one of the coins I'm invested in is has dropped.
I saw you.
Can't panic though. Can't panic.
No, it's
wait,
right. It's,
I wait for it to go down
They're
lower.
starting to go back up a little bit.
Man's right. There's that panic at the beginning, like what's gonna happen. The State of the Union just happened, so like what's gonna go on with regulations and all that. I'm sure people like that article today, right? How more fitting, right? The fucking Facebook banned the ads of cryptocurrency and stuff, and like it's funny that I started.
Was that a real
I used to
ad?
see stuff like after we were talking. Well, yeah.
Was that a real article or was that like?
No,
the
that was
idea?
real. So I mean, I don't think their justification is real, but I thought it was funny that we had talked about it So you start to look into it, the algorithms, it shows up on your feed. And yeah, I like some page because I want to hear about it. I want to see what's going on. I don't think they're all scams. Doesn't mean the first one that pops up, I'm like, shit, let me get that.
Right.
But you guys like, but then that ad today where they're banning the ad. So now it's like, now you can't even, it's, oh, you're going to talk about it? Now we're going to shut that shit down so you're not talking about it.
Yeah, they're
That's
definitely controlling what's in front of you.
Yeah,
Google
right?
a product.
Which should be wrong in every aspect.
Google like laundry hamper.
Oh yeah,
don't know what
it's
that
in your
is.
cookies, and then
Yeah,
it tracks you. Yeah,
Facebook within 3 hours. Walmart ads.
not even 3 hours.
Yeah,
anymore.
not even 3 hours.
Nuts.
I literally I'm starting to drink bone broth because it's supposed to be really, really good for you, and I saw some posts about it on Onyx, and you guys follow those
Yeah.
guys, Joe
Sounds
Rogan,
super
Aubrey Marcus, and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
As I say, I just heard it.
Yeah, yeah.
So we gotta talk about some shit.
Yeah, bone broth. So I just bought a bunch of it because I've been doing some research on what it's supposed to be good for. There's a lot of collagen in it. It helps a leaky gut. It helps people can lose weight. It gives you a lot of nutrients you don't get. It helps your bones become more dense, makes you stronger. A lot of health benefits behind it. But yeah, so I looked up best bone broth companies on Google, found a company called Kettle and Fire, clicked on it, and literally my next Google search, or my next, I went to like YouTube or something like that, and the first commercial I saw was Kettle and Fire.
That's
Like,
something a little obscure. Yeah, that's something a little obscure too. Like, there's not a lot of people out there looking for bone broth. I'd never even heard of it.
Right.
I mean,
But it's because, every
Right.
time you, agree to the terms and conditions you don't read, it allows them
Right.
to track your cookies. And by tracking your cookies, they can sell that shit to all these other companies. And our phones are designed for one purpose and one purpose only.
Advertising.
Yeah, advertising.
But that's because you're not watching TV, bro. How else
Right.
are you gonna get it? I can't stand watching TV, but I'll scroll through a couple of Facebook ads. You know what I mean? Like it's such a different thing. I don't want to. If I'm sitting to relax, I hate watching live TV.
I won't
cannot
do it.
I
fucking
can't stand to do
stand
it.
it.
There's
dude.
like 2 shows that me and the wife will watch that are on like actual live TV, and I swear to God, as soon as it goes to commercial, I'm on my phone. I'm like, just search. I'm going from one advertising avenue to another. To another.
Yeah, but it's different because you can pass by.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right.
Or at least give me 5 seconds and I can click, and you're fucking out of my way.
Get a random cat
Like, you know what I
video
mean?
every now
Like,
and then.
That's all I need. I'm not gonna buy your shit anyways. Or if I'm interested in that 5 minutes, then I'll look.
Right.
But other than that, like watching regular
Skip
TV,
feature on
30
YouTube.
seconds.
The
Yeah,
skip
dude.
feature in like 5 or 10 seconds. Skip it.
Yep.
Like, why can't we do it on TV yet?
Right.
I gotta be careful on commercial breaks.
That's
Stay
why-
off YouTube.
That's why I live stream or not, or I stream everything now. I use like a Kodi box, and I'll use that to watch TV.
Yeah.
I'll wait until an hour and a half after it's come out live, that way I can just pass by all the commercials. Like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is one of the only shows I would watch like when it came out live and deal with the fucking commercials, but I would still rather wait an hour and a half after and just watch it without the commercials.
Well, that's
It's on HBO. It has commercials.
Oh wait, no, there's no commercials. In
Well, there's not, but you can watch it on the app. Like if you go through the app, I think it's a little bit shorter because I think there are like 5 minutes of previews before the show.
I've seen
But that's
some
it.
kind of a preview. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe we're talking about The
If you-
Walking Dead.
I don't watch The Walking Dead.
Oh,
I-
that's
No.
Watch it.
I mean, there's like a 5-minute promo for HBO
Okay,
I-
don't
I-
like
every
commercials. I
episode.
don't want,
so-
if I get HBO, I better not have commercials because
I
you
know-
had to pay for that shit.
I know I had like HBO Go or HBO Now,
Yeah, that's what it is.
one of their apps, and I swear to God, there was commercials where like in between, there was like a 5 or 10 minute commercial break in between like last week's episode and this week's episode because I always play last week's before. I know
Yeah.
I've seen commercials on it. But I won't watch commercials. I fucking hate it.
I watch everything on Hulu, Netflix.
Yeah,
It's
Amazon Prime's good too.
yeah.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
movies.
You know what? They've actually gotten some new content lately. They were really lagging behind in the content for a
Jeff
while.